Now that is very fascinating. So the handler, herald, whatever title you want to attach to the Lovecraftian creature, apparently it has a time limit. It can only appear a few times, and once it appears a certain amount of times, the herald/handler will not pop up, which I find very intriguing, which makes me just wonder a lot of things about how this world works and where the series is going to go with that. Number one, we already found out for the past couple episodes that apparently the herald/handler, it was created, or it is a actual ancestor to our main cast of characters. Basically, at one point in time, the herald was our main character's ancestor turned into that. We don't know exactly how that happened. We don't know if it's because of a punishment. We don't know if it's because they willingly chose that. We don't know if it was because of an ability of one of them in the past that caused them to turn into that. We have no idea. However, we do know that they can come about. They are born in some way. And in this case, now that we know that there is a certain limit and they will disappear, my question is will more appear when one disappears? For instance, okay, we don't know how they're made, but it's very obvious that the way it's going, it seems like there's probably a way for these creatures to be born. I don't know necessarily if it's our main cast of characters that could be born into the herald/handler, or maybe random people can. I have no idea. However, all we do know is that the handler, when it comes about, when it appears, it actually attacks someone's head, which is brainwaves. And this goes along with what I said in my last video of Kokkoku, and how I said that there are some things that don't make sense. If the herald attacks people that have, ill intent, wanting to, kill someone or bodily harm someone, and it only, attacks someone that's trying to mess with the stalled, then why didn't the person that got shoved through the glass and all that, why didn't, the person that did that get attacked? That was a big question I had about the series thanks to that scene. But now it makes a lot of sense. It does appear that if you unconsciously, or you're not aware of hurting someone, or you don't think you're hurting someone, then the creature's not going to hurt you. For instance, if you're just running and all that like a madman through the stalled people, and you're not actually really trying to harm anyone, but you accidentally, say, bump into someone, and when you bump into someone, when you trip and fall, they go straight into like a car windshield or something, then you might not get attacked by the herald because you didn't mean to do that. Your intentions in your head was not to cause harm to that person. You were just running, and you actually hit the man. There you go. And that seems to be the case. For the creature to attack someone's head a couple of times, it was even stated brain waves is why it's attacking the head. It might be because it senses the intent from someone, and then it attacks it to stop it. Maybe it annoys the herald. Maybe there's a certain signal that goes off from the person and annoys the herald, and then it stops it. That also can be a thing. But then, this is also another big thing that we need to factor in as well. If it is ill intent, we don't really know how the heralds are processing that. For instance, for all we know, if someone was they were messed up in the head and they thought they were doing something good, if they thought they were killing someone for the greater good and all that, and they thought they were actually a good person for doing it, would that necessarily mean that the herald would attack them if they were mentally messed up? That's another question I have, since obviously the heralds have something to do with brainwaves now. But let's get back onto the original discussion at hand, which is how these heralds, come about, what could possibly happen. I'm going to assume that we're going to probably find out very soon on how these heralds are born. If I had to take an educated guess, I'm going to assume the person that might be the next herald/handler might be the old man. I could see something like that happening, because like I've already said in my last review, the old man character, since he's like that guy that teaches everybody, he's like that mentor character in, the show, he has those death flags all over him, and I could definitely see him croaking before the series is said and done, so I could see him possibly becoming the next herald for we can learn how it happens, and then everybody's gonna be like, oh crap, and all of that. That would be pretty interesting if we found out about that. Now, another thing too is we also get to see a little bit more details to these jellyfish, these like spirit-like creatures, these jellyfish, and we get to see our main female character, Judy. She actually manages to have some form of ability to where she can force someone to not be in the stasis world. She makes them stalled, which I find very intriguing, because that's pretty OP. That's a really OP ability. To force someone out of this world and all that, and make it to where they can't move anymore, That's broken. The question I have, though, is how many times can she use it, and exactly how was she using it? I mean, does she even know how to use it? Because it automatically started to work when she was near a life or death situation, she was about to die, and then that happened. So I'm very curious on exactly how that activates, if she has to have a certain, mind wave, like, her brain waves have to be on a certain level or frequency for her to be able to use it. That could be a thing, too, because we gotta remember, it does seem like your mind does play a big role in however this world is, because let's look at the brother, the brother to Jurdy. He was having somewhat of like a mental breakdown this episode, just thinking about everything, and then you saw the weird jellyfish tentacles coming out of his back, which in many ways, many might say that he was developing a power, but I feel like it's something more than that. I actually believe that maybe that was him unsinking from, like, that jellyfish. What I mean is that if you would have continued down that path of thinking what he was doing, the jellyfish might have separated from him, and he would have became a stalled. That's what I think. I feel like the jellyfish being in someone's body, when it merges, you just need to have, like, a certain brainwave, and if you're not in a proper line or sync with it, then it's going to disconnect from you, and it's just going to, leave your body. I feel like something like that is going to be a thing as well, judging by how this episode was. Now, anyways, let's also talk about the girl, the other girl, like the girl part of the main villain cast. I don't know exactly her name, so forgive me, but, she seems very important. Like, she seems like that type of character that's going to be, a turncoat to me, because it's apparent that she knows Jurdy. She looks at Jurdy and all that, and then she says, like, don't harm her and all that, and she knows a lot of things. She knows a lot of things about the Stasis world, since this is apparently, like, one of their first few times being here and all of that. She knows a lot, and also on top of that, she knows more than normal or average people, and it does seem like she knows who Jurdy is. So, that right there, that's very peculiar. It's off. And so, she's probably going to be very important. I could definitely see her probably joining the good guy side because of how she's been acting. I mean, she doesn't really appear to be an evil person. It just seems like she has questions, and she wants to have some of these questions answered, and that's what she's doing. She's just seeking those, questions, or answers to those questions, correction. So, yeah. Anyways, besides all of that, though, let's also talk about that final scene, which, that annoys me. That annoys me. That cliffhanger is brutal. It's a brutal cliffhanger, and I've said this so many times with so many other series. I mean, I know cliffhangers are supposed to be there for you to get hyped up and, watch the next episode when it comes out, which I'm fine with. I know that's what series is supposed to do, but it just really bugs me when I'm getting into a show, and the show feels like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and I'm like, it's already over, because I'm already really enjoying this series. I love Kokkoku. I've been enjoying every episode. It's definitely one of my favorites from Winter of Anime 2018. I mean, I have a couple of series up there that I really enjoy, but this is definitely one of them. I look forward to it every single Sunday, and so just seeing how that cliffhanger happened, like, really? Like, really? I do wonder if she's gonna get stabbed or not, though. I'm very curious about that, because, I mean, the way that the knife was coming in, it doesn't look like it was actually gonna, do a fatal wound to her. It looked like it was gonna go into her shoulder right here, which is, from what I know of, if you hit someone right there, it's not necessarily death, unless it goes into a certain way. So, I mean, I don't think she's gonna be, like, fatal injury, but it's gonna hurt a lot, and I do feel like it might lose the function of maybe moving her arm properly if she's hit in a certain way. So, that could potentially be a thing. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next, but it's a pretty fun show. It's a very fun show. I'm liking the world building. I'm liking the characters. I'm liking how mysterious the handlers are and how they've come about. Oh yeah, there is a couple of things I do need to clarify as well. It also is shown in this episode that being greedy and stealing money or stealing things, it doesn't call the handler. So, that is something we need to also pay attention to. So, the rules or whatever that was told to the grandpa, apparently those are false, because we actually saw people stealing money, food, doing very lewd things to women and all that throughout this episode. So, when you look at that, you're like, obviously the handler doesn't, mess with that. So, it does probably come down to just only injury to the stalled, if you're trying to harm them. So, yeah, that's very interesting. We need to take note of that. So, that's probably going to be a big plot point in the future. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And if you want to get notified for whenever I upload a video, please click the bell icon next to the subscribe button down below. I love you guys. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live, guys. And I hope you have many great days. Please be safe. Chibi out.